Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Gaming Music Podcast with me, your host, Tasty Mond. We are here for episode 10. I never thought we would make it this far, to be totally honest, but I've actually been pretty busy these past couple of months. I was actually away in Orlando, Florida for a couple of weeks, and I've been playing a few games in between that as well. Pretty busy. This is actually the first weekend I have had where I've been able to sit down and think about this next episode that we're going to do. And we are on episode 10. I just want to thank everybody who's ever listened to one of the episodes so far. Thank you for people's contributions in terms of what music they like and that we've featured them on the channel. I really do appreciate it, guys. What do you say we get into this episode? And we're going to start off with Super Mario Galaxy, Gusty Garden Galaxy. This is by Koji Kondo. It's very nice. A good way to start the episode. I hope you all enjoy. Yeah, Super Mario Galaxy. That is definitely one of my all-time favorite games on the Wii. Uh, didn't think too much of what is it? The one that came out on the Wii U, you know? I forget the name of the one that came out in the Wii U, but I never thought of it as like a proper sequel to the 3D Mario that I really wanted, you know what I mean? But I think that'll probably come out in its next console. Is it a shame that the Wii U did not get like a proper Mario standalone game? Yeah, it probably is, but maybe they treated the 2D Mario that came out on the Wii U as the proper Mario game for that system. Unfortunately, I was never really a big fan of Super Mario Wii U. Incredibly difficult. You know, the 2D Marios are definitely hard games. The 3D ones are a bit easier, but I just like the easeability of them. You know, they're very easy, they're fun, they've got beautiful landscapes, all that. I just really enjoy the 3D Marios, and I can't wait to get a new one. This next track that I've got coming up is actually from Zelda Skyward Sword. This is actually the main theme. It's by Hajime Wakai, Takeshi Hama, Mahito Yokota, and Shiho Fuji. Really nice track, one of my favourite tracks from Skyward Sword. I was actually not a huge fan of Skyward Sword, but the music in it is incredible. Have a listen. From what I understand, that track is actually just the Zelda main theme backwards. I've not actually looked into it, but that's what people tell me. It's actually just the Zelda main theme backwards. And it's amazing that it actually sounds good, you know? I would actually say it's one of my favourite tracks from Zelda ever. Just a simple title theme, and all they had to do was reverse one of their already great songs, and it sounded great in reverse. How about that? This next track I've got coming up is actually from Sonic Adventure 2. You know, I love Sonic, like just Sonic games in general for their music are just one of the best, you know. This is Pyramid Cave. It's from Sonic Adventure 2, and it's by Jun Sunu, Fumi Kumatani, Tomoya Ohtani, and Kenchi Tokoi. Hopefully said all those names right. They definitely deserve credit for their work on all the Sonic games. I mean, they're just incredible. Listen to this. I love that track. Honestly, you'll always find Sonic games on this podcast because I just find their music incredible. I'll take a little bit of a break from the music right now. I'll first off start by explaining where I've been the past couple of months because this podcast is very late. That's an understatement. Well, I mean, like, what I guess I was having like a little bit of a break for a while, you know, just off everything really, in terms of even like I usually stream quite a bit, like almost like near enough every couple of days with any games that I play, you know. It never really bothers me if there's one person in there or there's 20 people in there. It doesn't really ever bother me. It's just, I always do it and it's like a hobby, and fun and getting other people's, uh, how to say, like their impressions of a game that I love as well. It just creates good conversations between gamers, you know. Really enjoy streaming, even though I'm very small time. Let's just put it that way. Creating YouTube videos, etc. I like doing stuff like that too. Took a break from it all, really, and the main reason that I took a break was I was coming up for a holiday to Orlando, Florida, and I went over and I had a great time. I actually go every year, and it's just a completely like different atmosphere over there. You know, you get away for a couple of weeks, it's great. You come back, you're a bit down about being back home because it was so good over there, and yeah, I just really enjoyed myself, and then I decided to take a little bit, even longer bit of a break from doing all this kind of stuff and playing a couple of games. And I told you on the previous episode, like I was looking to get back into World of Warcraft and stuff, and I did. I did. I went back to World of Warcraft for the new expansion, Legion. Um, so I basically played that for like a good couple of months. Like that's near enough been like the game I have been playing, It's a good expansion. It's actually a great expansion. There's nothing wrong with it, really. I've hit a brick wall in that game right now. I think it is kind of like a bit burnt out from if anyone's ever like played World of Warcraft, it's a very grindy game, etc. And sometimes you can just get burnt out by it, And we actually were in like a raiding guild, like a bunch of team people, and taking down bosses and what have you. And when it came to the raiding side of things, it just, you get home from work after like 7 hour shift. Like half these people in the guild are unemployed. Like that is legit. I'm not lying here. There's only a couple who aren't. So like you come home from work and then what you have to raid for like 4.5 hours straight home from work. It's just not acceptable for me anymore, dude. I can't do it. No, I had to stop doing that. And one of my other friends, he stopped as well because he finds the game very grindy and he's he doesn't get time to relax either because you're like coming in, you're raiding and stuff like that. Maybe the other guys would understand if they actually had a job, but they don't. That's no disrespect towards them or anything, but they were looking for a reason why people want to stop, and that is a good enough reason right there, It's all good. It's all good fun. No, I really enjoyed the expansion. I am kind of like weaning off it right now. It's a bit too grindy. There was this. How to explain like the sense of grindiness that I'm talking about here. If anyone's ever played like MMOs or grindy games, you'll know what I'm saying. Like it's all about getting a drop. Like a boss can maybe drop something that you want, and then maybe it takes so many tries for you to get it. This one thing happened to me where these couple of bosses had a very rare drop chance of dropping something, and it took me 395 kills in order to get it off the guy, and we were farming this, whatever item it was. We were doing this with like 5 other people, and like some guy came in and he got it on his third try. Here I am at 394 kills and never seen a drop. That kind of thing just really annoyed me. But like that's like what happens in these type of games, and I just don't think I've got time for that kind of stuff anymore. I miss playing my older games, So I started streaming again a few days ago and playing my Resident Evil or Castlevania or something. It's just like, yeah, this is much like what I prefer, playing other games, ones that don't require me to always do something. And that's just how World of Warcraft is, though. But I don't have time for that kind of game anymore. I was watching like professional people who play it, and like they're on the game all day, all night, and it's like they live it, which is totally cool. But I think if I'm going to ever play that game again, I need to go back to like being kind of casual, because like the more harder stuff for the game requires you to always be doing stuff, and I just don't want to do that. So yeah, I just thought I would explain where I was the past couple of months. Was I sinking into like an addiction of it again? No, definitely not. I know what addiction feels like, but I guess you were like treading the line, so to say, of that. I mean, like, if I was willing to kill a guy 395 times in order to get an item, yeah, maybe I was a little bit, you know? But yeah, I hope people can understand about, taking a couple of months out to play a game, etc. And I'm still going to play World of Warcraft, but, like, will I keep my subscription going? I've only got, like, 5 days left on it. Probably not. I think that's going to be me for a little while. And yeah, I miss doing this podcast too. So, like, full focus on this podcast, playing my old games again, streaming again, doing some more videos and stuff. The stuff I really like doing and have, like, making time for, you know? So this next track I've got coming up, this is a classic. It's Streets of Rage 2. It's called Dreamer. Beautiful little track. I hope you enjoy. I love that track. I love Streets of Rage. You know, I feel like we're really missing a game like Streets of Rage in this day and age. I mean, you don't know what I mean. I just mean like, just like a beat 'em up cooperative game that is like Streets of Rage, you know? Um, if anybody knows of any games that are actually like that, be sure to let me know. And I even mean if it's just like a 2D one as well that an indie team have made. You know, I actually thought these games would be everywhere, but that if they were everywhere, I would know about it, you know? Because I really missed that kind of game and just like how chilled they are and playing with a friend online. And even like the Steam version of Streets of Rage 2 is actually not online. So like you cannot play it with a friend. You have to play it solo, which kind of like blows my mind. They did actually try and remake a Streets of Rage a while back. Fans remade a Streets of Rage, which is a very good, it's a very good remake. Basically, like incorporates all three of the games in one kind of thing. Also, Sega did try to make a remake. There's a prototype floating out around there on the web where it was like basically like a 3D one, new kind of Streets of Rage. But there's never been another game like Streets of Rage, if you ask me. You had older games back in the day like it, like Altered Beast, Golden Axe, you know, games like that. I feel like we're really missing a game like that, and I would love to play like a new one, you know. So this is a little bit of a Genesis Mega Drive segment here. The next one I'm going to play is actually Moonwalker. It's from Moonwalker, it's Smooth Criminal, you know, the Michael Jackson, because I played one not too long ago. I played the Moonwalker version of Beat It. Well, this is the Moonwalker version of Smooth Criminal. Man, that Moonwalker game is so good. If you've never played it, I would actually recommend like giving it a go. I don't know how many people. Um, I've never actually considered myself like a retro gamer, but then like I do mostly play older games. Don't get me wrong, I play newer games as well. I play newer games, but like if I find myself with some free time, it's mostly like playing one of the older games that I love. You know, um, I don't know if you could consider that like retro gaming. I mean, it's not that old if you consider like PS1 games, which is what Resident Evils mostly are. Um, I wouldn't consider PS1 like retro gaming or PS2, It's definitely older gaming though, for sure. But I mean, Mega Drive, I guess that definitely is retro gaming. But dude, I mean, the Mega Drive just has some great games on it, some that people may have missed because they maybe had a SNES, or vice versa. Somebody had a Mega Drive and didn't play any of the SNES games, which is exactly what happened to me. So I never played some of the original Marios back in the day either. Great track though, just great OST in general from the genius Michael Jackson. I mean, what more do you expect? This next track I've got coming up is from Tiny Toons Adventure. I had this game. It's a great game, actually, on the Mega Drive. Um, I mean, what kind of game was it? It was very similar to like World of Illusion or Castle of Illusion, if you've ever played any of those games. Just a 2D side-scrolling game. Very fun one though, and it had a great soundtrack as well. Tiny Toons Adventures, where you played as the kids version of Looney Tunes. I can't remember the rabbit's name, but like Bugs Bunny's nephew, basically. That's who you played. That's who you played as. So this track is from Tiny Toons Adventure, Buster's Hidden Treasure. It was actually really hard to choose a track from the list because they're all very, very catchy. I recommend listening to the OST. It's very nice. So I'll take a little bit of a break right now and talk about some of the gaming news that is going on, dude. Um, I'm not entirely sure what's going on, to be totally honest, because I've been playing World of Warcraft. But like one of the things that did come across to my mind was I was in America, and when I was on holiday, I took a walk into the local GameStop, and there was a woman behind the counter there. I was just having a little shot of one of the games that were on the stalls. Forget what it was. I think it was Pokken. The Pokemon fighting game that came out, because I'd never played it. Thought I would give it a go. And she came up to me and she's like, "Oh yeah, what games are you playing these days?" And just like usual banter. And I was just like, "Ah, yeah, I'm playing World of Warcraft right now. Like, where's your PC section in here?" She was like, "Yeah, no many PC games in here." I was like, "Oh, okay, fine." She was like, "You getting a new PS4 though?" And I was like, "New PS4? What's the new PS4?" She was like, "Oh, they just announced the PS4 Pro yesterday. It's going to be full 4K, uh, better graphics, better everything. Do you want to pre-order it?" I was like, "Hold the phone. No, I do not want to pre-order it. Thanks very much, though." No, I didn't want to pre-order it. It kind of shook me. Um, they're just saying that it was going to be like 4K, like right off the bat. I was like, "No way, can't be true. There's just no way. How much are they charging for this thing?" I think they're charging £200, in the UK, £200. So I looked it up and like trying to like figure out what's going on here. Don't get me wrong, I want like gaming to be amazing. You know what I mean? It's like I really do. A huge supporter of video games, whether it be on a PC that's best or a console that's best or whatever it is. I really don't care. Like I'm a gamer at the end of the day. But like when I hear some stuff that's just a bit unbelievable, I'm kind of like I have to question it. So, like, obviously, what she told me was wrong. It is not 4K. It's upscaled to 4K, which is a completely different thing. And I mean, there's just no way that they would have been able to charge £200 for 4K steady gaming. Like, you can't even do that on a PC for like a lot of money, you know? Um, yeah, so it's going to be like from what I understand about the PS4, it's going to be like it's going to have better graphics though, which is all cool. And some games are going to support like PS4 Pro functions. Do you know what I mean? That all sounds great. Will some of them be 60 FPS? I actually don't know. I've not really looked into it that far. If they are though, that's pretty good. I don't think they'll be upscaled in 4K though and be able to do 60 FPS gaming. It's either one or the other. You choose that. But no, it's not going to be true 4K, which is fine. It's going to be upscaled, it's going to be better, it's going to help these games perform a little bit better, which is great. But I think people are kind of like blowing it out of proportion that it's going to be some really immense thing when I think it's just going to like help the games function better, basically, and maybe like look a little bit better, which is cool. But like the number one complaint of games over the years, when you like look at PC gaming, you look at console gaming, um, it's like PC gaming is ahead of console gaming. Like you can't argue that. Like I'm not a supporter of any. I've got both, dude. I'm just like trying to say the facts here. Like, you have both. PC gaming, the versions on the PC are held back because of the console versions are significantly lower specs. You know what I mean? It's common knowledge, that that's what it is. And like PC versions can be as good as they want to be. It really is just up to the developer. But if you have like a version that's so far behind, you obviously cannot make the PC one superior because people are going to be jealous that their one's not as good, kind of thing. And like that's like, will I buy the PS4 Pro? No, I'm not going to buy the PS4 Pro. I'm saying that now because I just think like it's too much money. For something that should have been included right off the bat is like really what I mean here. It should have been included right off the bat with the PS4, not £200 later. I mean, like, what else to say about it? Really, is that is like, okay, you've got your PS4 version, you got your PS4 Pro version. How much better is the PS4 Pro version going to be? Because Sony still have to supply the people with a great game who cannot afford the PS4 Pro version. Do you know what I mean? So it's really not going to be that big different. And Microsoft falls into the same category here. I forgot what their project for the next thing's called, but they're saying there's like no holding back on this new console of theirs that's coming out next year. No holding back. Yes, there is going to be holding back. Honestly, like, I'll eat my words if, like, I'm saying wrong here, but there will be holding back because it's been happening to PCs for years. You know what I mean? The Xbox, new Xbox, which sounds like it's going to be the more powerful thing out of the PS4 and the Xbox, in terms of specs, I'm just basing this on here. Like, you're going to have your original Xbox One version, then you're going to have this better version for the new Xbox. Like, how much better is it going to be? Because they still have to make they still have to make a great game and not make people get too jealous because they have the inferior version. You know what I mean? It's just like, I mean, what do you guys think about that? That is literally why PC games are not hugely ahead of PS4 games. Like, and as much better as they could be. There'll be 60 FPS on the PC, which is great. Like, Witcher is an exception here. The Witcher 3, 60 FPS on the PC. Its graphics are absolutely stunning. You know what I mean? It's like, I've never been a graphics whore, but like seriously, like on the PC, that game looks unbelievable. You know? So like you can see like what the better version of that game is what I mean. But at the end of the day, it's not too different from the PS4 version. If you ever go back and look at the very, very early tech demos of Witcher 3, you can see it was in a completely different beast of its own compared to what it is now. Even though what it is now is fantastic. You know, like I wouldn't care because like the game I have now is like great. But what I ultimately mean here is how much better is the PS4 Pro version going to be over the original version? You know, how much better? Is it just going to look a bit better? You know, like, I mean, is that really worth £200 of an add-on? Not to mention the fact that I'm a little bit upset with what Sony's just pulled off a couple of weeks ago. Like, you're also getting charged another £200 for VR, which is like £200. I mean, come on. It's just like £200 for that, then £200 for the PS4 Pro. Not to mention the £400 that you spent on the console at the start. That's £800 for a full PS4. You know? I just think it's ridiculous, really. When that should have been included on the PS4 from the start. Maybe not the VR. I can understand that being a separate thing, but the thing that the PS4 Pro is should have been the original console. And they know that. And I think everybody else knows that, you know? But yeah, I guess that was a little bit of a rant, but you know, I mean, what else do you say? I mean, like, you know, I'm a supporter of games, but I'm not a supporter of like, you know, like paying £200 to play a game with a little bit better graphics, especially when I have a PC already, kind of thing. That's really where I stand on it, you know. But I mean, who knows how it'll end up looking at the end of the day? I'll need to, if it like comes out and like, I mean, let's just say like the exclusive. I mean, this is exactly the kind of thing that will like bring me into it, right? You know, I'm a huge Dark Souls fan. Sony is like totally buying out From Software, who are the Souls creators. They have an exclusive title called Bloodborne. They will probably have another exclusive title, and the PS4 Pro version will be the better version of the game, which will be very, very tempting. That will probably be the thing that would pull me in, if anything, you know, to like get a PS4 Pro. But I doubt I will. I will try and stick to my morals here, and you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's just a shame that like Sony are so. I mean, yeah, I love that they give people PC versions of their games. Street Fighter Five being one of them. You know, I think we're going to see some other titles in the future that are going to be like PC slash PS4 exclusive kind of thing. But from what I have understood is that like all VR games are like exclusive to Sony for a year, you know, like right now. And that's a bit upsetting, you know what I mean? Like just take for instance, like Resident Evil 7's coming out next year. VR is going to be the way to play that game, seemingly. Sony's going to have that for a year first before the PC even get like to play that game in a VR mode, which I think is kind of like unacceptable. You know, the it's like DLC at a next level. You know what I mean? Like exclusive console DLC. This is at a next level. We are now changing the way the game is played, and you can't play it like how we're playing it. You know, which is a bit upsetting. I mean, we'll need to wait and see what happens in the future, but, you know. Anyway, on to the next track. Now, yes, this track is actually from Golden Axe. It's called Wilderness. This game came out in 1989. Can you believe that? Now, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier with Streets of Rage 2. You know, like a similar game to Streets of Rage 2, Golden Axe. Well, this is called Wilderness, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play the original Genesis track, and then midway I'm going to switch it into the newer remade track, and let you think which one's better. Dude, that's so good though, right? I mean, like I said, it's just so hard to believe that Golden Axe originally came out in 1989. I cannot believe it. I hope the remix wasn't too bad there. Like, I'm not exactly a DJ, you know, when I was trying to mix the tracks together, so hopefully they meshed pretty well. I just want to go on the record and say, like, I really want to get across here that I'm not trying to, like what I was previously talking about, I'm not trying to say PC is immensely better than console gaming or vice versa. You know what I mean? It's just, I just want people to like get along and understand some of the facts here. It's like, you know, like that's what it is. Like I play both, so I have an opinion on both kind of thing, and I'm not saying one's better than the other or anything. You know what I mean? It does actually really surprise me though how many console people and PC people just do not get along. You know, like it was just on Twitter the other day. I follow a guy on Twitter and he just came out with something that made me instantly unfollow him. He was like, I need to uh, just eradicate PC players from the gaming base. You know, I was just like, what is your problem, dude? Instantly unfollowed. I was like, what is wrong with him? He's exactly the problem. That kind of guy right there is the one that causes, you know, the problems between console and PC gamers. There's just people like that, and it's, you know, it's the same with PC people. Some PC people are like that to console players. It is pretty upsetting because we all play games as a whole. You know, it's gaming in general. You know, and we all just want to play the best games out there. Am I right? So this next track I've got coming up is actually a Castlevania song. Yep, it's a Castlevania song from Order of Ecclesia. It's called An Empty Tome. It's by Michiru Yamane. what else can I say about Castlevania? You all know how I feel about it. It's one of my favourite series of all time, best OSTs of all time, etc. I'm actually going to be playing a couple of Castlevania games over on my Twitch channel over the next week. I'm going to be playing Castlevania The Dracula X Chronicles, which is a remake of Rondo of Blood. Excellent remake, which is basically the game that's set right before Symphony of the Night. Symphony of the Night is literally like takes place like right after, you know. Maybe it's not right after in the timeline, but it's a true sequel to it, you know. Like years have passed in between Rondo of Blood, the Dracula X Chronicles game I'm talking about here, and then it goes into Symphony of the Night where Alucard investigates. It's just so sick. Man, Castlevania, man. People need to play those games if you've never played them. They're so good. I'll be playing them on my Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/TastyMond. If anybody likes Castlevania or whatever, just come on. Feel free to drop by, dude. I'll be playing them for the next week or so. We're going to play Rondo of Blood, then we're going to play Symphony of the Night. We're going to try and complete Symphony of the Night with a true ending, you know. That game done something very incredible back in the day, where, you know, like some people would finish the game and they'd be like, oh, is that, you know, okay, I've finished the game. And then, like, you find out later there was actually like little secrets you could do that like changed the game so that you had literally only played half the game and something you done in the game opened up the other half. Amazing. What with the internet these days, those kind of secrets never stay secret for too long though, you know, if there's a new game that ever done that kind of thing. I'm pretty sure it would get figured out pretty quick. Okay, so this next track I've got coming up is from Dead or Alive 2. It's called Vikagu. Vig-Aku. That's the one right there, by Makoto Hosoi. Well, guys, that's going to about do it for episode 10. I really hope people have enjoyed the episode. Thank you very much to anybody who has ever listened to any one of these podcasts. I really do appreciate it, and I don't know what else to say other than thanks. And, there might be times where I take little breaks in between, like what happened here, and, that'll just happen. But I'm definitely going to keep doing this podcast for however long I see fit, Nobody will stop me, dude. And, I need your help as well. I need your help to keep sending me your recommendations for tracks, because there's plenty of music out there that I've never heard. You can send me any tracks that you like as well, and find me on Twitter at TastyMond, youtube.com/TastyMond, and twitch.tv/TastyMond. It's, I'll be there somewhere, bro. And just feel like dropping me a note if you've got any good tracks that maybe you think I've never heard of before, or something new for the podcast as well. I need your help as well, because the whole point of this was to let more people listen to this type of music and see how many amazing artists are out there who are, making this incredible music for video games that's maybe people don't know about. It's like, that's the whole point. The music's great. It's just as good as real songs. To me anyway, that's the way it's always been. And sometimes I find myself listening to gaming music over real music. I'm pretty sure I'm not alone there. It's just, yeah. But if you've got any good tracks, send them my way, dude. I'll really appreciate it. And I'm going to leave you with a little track here. It's actually a very special track, this one. This is from Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. This is like one of the shanty themes. What that means is, it's one of the tracks that, because you're a pirate in that game, you get your own ship. You sail the seven seas, right? And you have a crew. And when you have a crew and you sail the seven seas, your guys like to sing on the boat. And some of them are really good. And this is called Leave Her Johnny. It's by Johnny Collins, Dave Weber, and Pete Watkinson. It's literally all lyrics. There's actually no music in here. It's a guy's voice, and it's very nice. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you here for episode 11. Take care.
I thought I heard the old man say, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Tomorrow ye will get your pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Oh, the wind was foul and the sea ran high. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. She shipped it green and none went by, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. I hate to sail on this rotten tub. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. No grog allowed and rotten grub, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. We swear by our oath for want of more. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. But now we're through, so we'll go on shore, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her.